On this episode, Clare Hansen, head coach of the Benedictine College's women's lacrosse team, joins me. You know what's funny is Clare had never played lacrosse before coming to Benedictine College. She graduated in 2018 and became one of the standout players during the infancy of the lacrosse program. Crazier enough, Clare took over as head coach in 2021. In just 4 short years, she locked in 2 national championships. In today's episode, Clare shares how she went from total beginner to national champion, the lessons she learned along the way, and how she has built a team culture that thrives on grit, growth, and heart.
The year before in the national tournament, we went and we sort of had the opposite of the mentality I was talking about earlier, where we were like, oh, we're going to beat this team easily. And then we show up and we get destroyed. And so we never thought we would win it all. We just wanted to at least play well. We just didn't want, even if we lost in the first round, we just didn't want to play horrible like we did the year before. I think we just kept winning, and by the time we got to the championship game, there was probably like 5 seconds left before I even thought, oh, we're going to win it all.
Welcome to Always a Raven, a Benedictine College podcast that goes far beyond the brick streets of Atchison, Kansas. Hosted by Janelle Menz, Always a Raven offers a unique glimpse into Ravens from all generations. From where are they now to remember when, these conversations share career triumphs and personal milestones. So whether you are an alum looking to reconnect, a prospective student, or simply curious about what makes Benedictine College so special, join us and discover the enduring power of Benedictine College.
Well, today I am joined on Always a Raven podcast with Clare Hansen. Clare graduated from Benedictine College in 2018. She's originally from Hoyt, Kansas, and she has been the head coach of the lacrosse women's team for 4 years now. She's going into her 5th year. And in that short time, she has won 2 national championships. So that is a pretty big feather in her cap. And she did that this year, her national championship, in her 10th season, in our 10th season as a school of being a varsity athletic team. So many accolades to cheer Clare on, and I'm so excited to talk to you today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
So going back to, it really wasn't that long ago, but 2014, you come to Benedictine. How did you initially hear about the school?
I'm from just north of Topeka and Hoyt, and pretty small town, but I think there was a couple things that introduced me to Benedictine. One of my best friends in high school, and I went to Royal Valley K through 12, so all growing up, her aunt is Linda Henry.
Oh, okay.
And this girl's mom also, Linda's sister, also went to Benedictine. So just kind of, I think, knew of it through that. Probably starting like 6th or 7th grade, started going to Camp Tekawitha in Williamsburg, Kansas, run by the Niermeyers, among other people. And that was great experience. My memory, I'd have to ask my mom about this, but my memory is that our family wasn't super practicing Catholics. We wouldn't go every Sunday when I was younger, but then as my sisters and I started going to Tekawitha, it seemed like it just became a more important family thing. So,
wow. And
I say Tekawitha because most of the counselors there were Benedictine students, current students. So I think that introduced me to people who were about the right things, took their faith seriously, but also were cool and fun. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just kind of always, I don't know when that happened, when I had it in my mind, but then kind of growing up, sports was big for me. I played volleyball, basketball, softball, all growing up. And I think because I was the oldest and my parents didn't really play sports, we didn't really know about club sports or how to get recruited or anything. I only played 1 year of AAU basketball, and I just didn't know anything about trying to get on a team. So when it came time to decide where to go to school, I didn't even attempt to look into basketball here at Benedictine or anything, because I didn't think I was good enough either, and probably wasn't at the time. Maybe I could have got good enough, but yeah. So then just decided I guess sports is over for me. I'm gonna just come here because I'd rather be in this environment than try to go play somewhere else.
Yeah, sure. So so Camp Tekawitha and obviously Linda Henry connection kind of introduces you to Benedictine. When did you actually come and step foot on campus and experience it from a interested perspective?
Yeah, I don't know if it was in my junior or senior year. Came on a visit here.
When you typically go.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, and a couple of my high school friends also came with me. So I remember they were wearing their letter jackets, and I was like, I'm going to a college. I'm not like putting my letter jacket on. Just a random
We
thing.
gotta be cool, guys.
Yeah, random thing to worry about. But
that's funny that's a memory.
yeah, but there's a picture of all of us in the Raven Roost, and those two actually didn't come here, and I did. So
it was the letter jacket.
Yeah.
So you get here in 2014. And did you dive into lacrosse right away, or how did that evolve? Because you correct me if I'm wrong, but you did not play lacrosse prior to Benedictine.
Yeah, I did not.
Okay.
I must have been on like a Raven Day or something. I believe it was Molly Minnis who was like giving the talk or tour or something, and she was on the club lacrosse team.
Oh, okay.
And so she mentioned it, and she said that they like wore skirts, and that was sort of a reason that she thought people would want to play. But for me, I was like, no, it's like not tough enough. That was in my mind. But I knew that they like played KU and K-State and Creighton and went to Oklahoma State and just like played big schools.
Mm-hmm.
So there would be like a little bit more. It just felt more serious than intramurals. So.
And at that point, it was still considered a club team, though, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's when I kind of was introduced to that.
Okay. So from the get-go.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So you kind of watched the transformation of lacrosse from a club team to a varsity sport, and just the growth probably across collegiate, at our level, at NAI level, really great. Get that steam and get that popularity and that momentum going. What has that felt like? Just because from conception, really, here you've been a part of it.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see it grow, especially in the professional arena. It's like really getting some traction now. People are finally throwing some money behind it, so it's getting some more TV time and stuff. So it's definitely becoming more popular in Kansas City, and more kids are playing. So. Yeah, it's been cool.
How has recruiting changed for you? We're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but how has recruiting changed just because of the popularity, and probably the demand for players is greater? Yeah,
I think that in certain areas, certain parts of the country, it's getting more popular. Like we get a ton of kids from Texas. We don't get as many from the East Coast, which is where lacrosse is like the most popular. And I think that part of that, and President Minnis has told me this too, is part of that is like Benedictine just doesn't get as many East Coasters in general anyways.
Right.
I think part of that is because there's so many schools on the East Coast, just a ton of D3 schools. Obviously you have your D1 schools, but I think that we have really started to pick up on other pockets of Texas. Of course, we get the local kids, usually a few every year, and then St. Louis is big, and more the West Coast.
Interesting. It is amazing to watch the different sports. I feel like pickleball, for whatever reason, maybe it was COVID or before COVID, it just like probably before COVID, but just like took off, and everywhere you go, they're taking, tennis courts and turning them into pickleball courts and soccer fields and making them lacrosse fields or dual purpose. And it's just comical. Like, okay, where did this intensity come from? Did some celebrity start playing it and everybody else is like, ooh, that's cool. But it's such an amazing sport and fun sport to watch, because it's just so different than what, I think we've been used to for so long. Because lacrosse is originally overseas sport primarily, or
well, it started, the Native Americans actually created it.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's a Native American game, the Iroquois, and actually the patron saint of lacrosse is Saint John de Brebeuf, who was, I believe, a Jesuit. Yeah, went and like just saw them playing it. And lacrosse is named after the bishop's crozier, because it's kind of shaped like the original stick was actually sort of shaped similar to the bishop's crozier. So that's why he named it lacrosse. It's kind of similar.
Oh my gosh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Look at what you did you know that when you started?
I knew that when the juniors and seniors told me that when I got here. So yeah.
That's hilarious. Okay, so we jumped over your 4 years to lacrosse in the professional world. What was it like when you were here? What are some of your memories or experiences you had through your 4 years?
Yeah, I think obviously I have memories of the team, but I had really good friends outside the team, and my random college roommate was Rosie McShane, who played on the soccer team, and we ended up being roommates all 4 years. So I feel super blessed by that, and I was friends with a lot of those girls in the soccer team, and the women's soccer was so good in that area. I mean, they're still performing really well, but my senior year, they went to the national championship game, and I just remember, like, being on the lacrosse team then, we just wanted to be women's soccer. You know,
Yeah,
we wanted
sure.
we were happy to be able to use their locker room on game days, and because we didn't have one yet, we were happy to, like, just be able to play on the field that they played on.
Wow.
Because so much respect for their team, their character, their coach, everything. So it's pretty cool that, you know, we've
Now
kind
you
of
do.
reached where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because where did you play? Like in your years, did you play on the soccer field?
Yes.
So your schedule had to be dictated by the men's and women's soccer schedule.
Yeah, and once we became varsity, we have basically the same schedule that we had now.
Okay.
But just kind of that, like, yeah, like this is almost like this is their space that we get to use now.
Right.
So.
And I mean, like you said, it's such a the program itself has grown and has done so well. So it was almost, I'm sure, like yours, like, okay, that's our goal.
Yeah, totally.
That's our goal. We want that reputation. We want that, you know, we see it and we're going to get there, and you have.
Yep.
So was it on your bingo card to be the lacrosse head coach back then?
No, not at all. I don't think. I think I knew I did education, secondary education, and I knew I wanted to coach, but I didn't really think it would be lacrosse because still, like, there's not that many schools that even have lacrosse around in Kansas. I mean, especially where I grew up, there's none of that. So unless I'm going to Kansas City, I'm not coaching lacrosse.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to be a teacher. I think to just stay around sports in some way. And also I just like the rhythm of school and couldn't really imagine not being in school, but
and the schedule of having summers off is pretty nice.
yeah, that's nice.
So you graduated in 18 and then started coaching in 21. So talk about what went on in Claire's life between 18 and 21.
Yeah, so when I graduated, I started teaching 6th grade at Spring Hill Middle School, and that was good. You know, I had good leadership, and I felt like they were trying to help me get better and invested in me. And the kids, you know, pretty good kids and everything. Of course, you got the ones that you have to deal with. Yeah. And I just, probably about like halfway through the year, I started coaching lacrosse at St. James also in the spring.
Okay.
So I think it was probably around there where I was just wanting to do so much with that team, and you just didn't have time. Also, just the schedule of high school. Like, I knew we could do so much more in college because it's just a different schedule. You can demand more of their time. Even to just have meetings and like talk through we do a lot of team building stuff with our team, but I wanted to do all that too, not just the practicing, but you just can't when they're in high school. And so kind of feeling that, but also feeling like I wanted to focus on this St. James team more than I wanted to focus on teaching my 6th graders. And I always felt that I wanted to coach the 6th graders. I was like, they at the school I was at, they didn't really let you coach your first year teaching. So I was like, play with them at recess, and I can make you guys so good at so, you know. But so yeah, I think I started to feel like, okay, my head coach at Benedictine, Amanda McGee, this is her only job is to coach, and she gets paid to do that. That would be crazy. So I started talking to her a little bit about that, and the graduate assistant that was there at the time, she was about ready to leave, so it kind of that graduate assistant spot would open up, And I was kind of thinking, like, I don't really see myself teaching for 30 years, so I might as well go get my MBA and go
do
from there.
something I love alongside it.
Yeah.
Sure. So that was, so how much, so 2020 is when you came back then?
Yes.
Okay. So great timing.
Yeah, totally. Great timing to get out of teaching. But
Right. That's probably true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure you would have enjoyed teaching behind a computer and coaching behind a computer.
Yeah, no.
So you come back 2020 and then you take the head coach position in 2021. Take us to that first game, and you're in the locker room and you're trying to pump them up, ready to go out there. Do you remember what that was like as the head coach?
Yeah, well, I worked for the education department a little bit prior to becoming the head coach. I had to quit because I wasn't the assistant anymore. I had to quit working for the ed department. But I was telling all those guys, like, I'm so nervous for this first game, like we could lose. And then when we played and we won by like 15 or more, it was a blowout, and they were just like, oh, okay, yeah, like whatever. But I think that mentality still exists. Like all this year, several games, especially going up into the national tournament, we'd be like, this is going to be tough, this is going to be tough. And then we would roll the team, and the freshmen are like, when is it going to get tough? You know, they thought we were messing with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But it's like,
this is too easy.
That is our like mentality of like, it is going to be tough. If you don't perform, then you could
if you set the bar that high, that it is going to be tough. If you set the bar lower, then you're just, you're not giving it your all, and then it probably is going to get tougher if you're not yeah, that's amazing. So do you remember kind of like, all right, I can do this, like, or did you have that innate feeling of like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing?
Well, I think the first year it was we had great leaders, great senior leaders, but I did kind of have some friction with them at times. Just I think normal stuff, like normal productive conflict, I guess. But I didn't have an assistant or anything to like affirm what you were doing.
Do you think that's personalities in the moment, or do you think your age and their age were so close?
I think partly both.
Sure. How'd you work through that?
I think I just had to tell myself, because I had to make some decisions that at first they didn't always agree with. And
can you share what, like, can you give an example?
Picking captains.
Okay.
There was 6 seniors, and our team is 17 people.
Yeah.
So
that's hard.
But all of those 6 were super vital to what we were doing, and we did vote and do things like that, but there was like a 6-way tie. So I was like, the team thinks you guys are all, and eventually I decided, okay, all 6 of them are going to be captains. I know our team is like huge, or it's small though. And they were like, what? Like, why, And then after we sort of talked through it, to their credit, if they didn't agree with something, they would come tell me. They wouldn't just like stew and talk crap and to the side.
You know what? That's a testament to you as a coach, though, that they felt that they could have that conversation, have that tough conversation, and they didn't just throw their hands up in the air and say, forget it,
Yeah.
So out of the gate, I think it seems like you were born with it, and it just took a minute for it to come out, and look at you now.
Yeah. But I was glad that we could always like talk through it with them. And then when we won the national championship that year, they were like, yep, we get it. Like
we really like
everything made sense. Yeah.
What was that like? Like, were you, when you kind of saw the path to the national championship, were you like, because this was year 2 as the head coach?
First year.
Holy smokes, Claire.
Yeah.
So your first year, and are you like, I can't believe this is happening? Were you a little overwhelmed, or how did that affect your emotions?
Well, honestly, the year before in the national tournament, we went and we sort of had the opposite of the mentality I was talking about earlier, where we were like, oh, we're going to beat this team easily. And then we show up and we get destroyed. So that was super shocking, and I never wanted to feel that again. And the girls didn't ever want to feel that again. So we were really just focused on winning that first game, like getting out of the first round. And so we never thought we would win it all. We just wanted to at least play well. We just didn't want, even if we lost in the first round, we just didn't want to play horrible like we did the year before. I think we just kept winning, and by the time we got to the championship game, there was probably like 5 seconds left before I even thought, oh, we're gonna win it all, you know. Like, it was literally the very end, and it was super shocking. And when we won this year, the first thing I was thinking, this feels so different than the first time.
And why is that?
Just because it was so shocking the first time. Like, we did not anticipate at all being able to do that. We knew we could play at a high level, but just winning it all is crazy.
Yeah.
But this year, I think we not expected ourselves to do it, but definitely thought we could.
And you did. That's amazing. So how do the girl, like, what advice do you have to your girls? Like, okay, summer's here. We're going to see you in the fall, but like, let's just not lose traction mentally, spiritually, physically over the summer. How do you leave? How have you found yourself leaving every school year to make sure that when the girls come back, when the women come back, you're like ready to roll?
Well, I think this year, like, I was like, you guys deserve a break, you know, take a mental break. And they definitely wanted and needed that. But then, honestly, a lot of them were already talking about, we're doing this again. So I didn't have to do much.
Sure.
They already just love the working part.
Sure.
And are excited to just get back after it soon.
And do you have to accredit that somewhat to the culture that is Benedictine, right? It's whole person, not just the time on the field. It's your time off the field and what happens just within the community of Benedictine, but also you as a coach too, to be a leader both on the field and off the field. So you've cultivated that relationship just in your, 4 years. That's pretty tremendous. That's pretty tremendous. So talk about what's next then. Okay. So what do you go after in this next season?
I think I don't like to think about big things.
Sure.
I definitely think we can win more championships, but that's like so far away. So just focusing on like being your best in every single day. What's a little thing that you need to get better at or work on? And I think we need to keep recruiting great kids who are like have good character and want to work hard, because there's certainly been people on our team who they play for a year or a semester and then they leave the team, and maybe they stay here, which is awesome, or maybe they don't, but not everybody can handle what it takes to be on our team. It's just so rewarding though when you stick it out and you see
the fruits of your labor.
Yeah. That was a huge thing the freshmen said. The fall was really hard for them. Not because anything that we were doing was crazy, but just coming to college and then training super hard. The transition was really hard. They said they felt like a completely different person by the end, which, yeah, I felt like a completely different person every year of college.
Right. So. Absolutely. Yeah. What do you think as far as when I say once a Raven, always a Raven? So that's kind of the staple motto here, right? Like, so when I say that to you, what do you think, how does that resonate with you now as a coach, 2 national title championship coach, versus when you were a student?
Yeah, I think that Benedictine people just get it. Like, we understand how to work hard and trying to think.
It's more than a mascot.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Like it's actually like innate.
I haven't been able to find like better words than like they just get it. Like you can talk to anyone who went here and who like loved it here, and we all kind of can talk because they just understand. I think we have an appreciation for the little things here and an appreciation for just goodness and fellowship, community, that
and a desire for it.
Yes, yes. And understanding that that's like the most important thing. And I think other people, when I was teaching, the people I taught with were great, but it's just not the same.
It's kind of suffocated. It's suppressed, perhaps.
It's not the like most important. And so many people focus on the wrong things. And it's like, it's so clear to me why they're off and why they're not quite there. It's like, even for us, like so many coaches that we compete against, like they focus on winning, they focus on wanting to win it all, or they focus on, like, I don't know, getting good players, but it's like, but there's so much, you can't focus on winning. What if you never win? It's like, are your kids happy? Are they good people?
Because you're forming the rest of their lives in those 4 years, and that's on and off the field.
Or like focus on their behavior being bad. It's like, okay, well, what are you doing to like allow that behavior? Or how did you enable? How did you enable that behavior before? I think that that's something that I like. For a couple years after we won the national championship, there was a couple years where I wasn't the best at having high expectations for them. And so I think in the past year, that has greatly increased. Like, I just have high expectations for people, and I don't worry as much if they are in pain because of that. Because I've become more and more okay with, like, their pain is actually good for them. And it's necessary. And it's a disservice if you don't
allow them to, it's part of growing for sure. Do you challenge yourself? Like, do your players see you hold yourself to that expectation? And so they know out of the gate, like, well, coach does it, so I have to rise to that occasion.
Yeah, I hope so. It's funny, like, I used to play more with them, even just like do the conditioning and do the summer stuff with them, just to see like, oh, if I can do it, you guys should be able to do it. But like, something was mentioned this year about how I didn't play that much in practice this year, and it's like, yeah, because they're good, they're better than me.
They don't need
me to do it anymore. They don't need me to do as much of that because they just are good, and we have such good leadership on our team that the older ones really show it.
Yeah. You can show that just though through your demeanor and how you react to situations and really cultivate just that leadership. You know, if you've got good leaders on your team, your captains, that's a reflection of you as a coach. So kudos to you on that, on building that from really, you know, just a few years out of the gate. So, all right, where do you see yourself, number one? Where do you see the lacrosse program, number 2? And where do you see Benedictine, number 3, in, let's just say, the next 5 years?
Yeah, well, super pumped about the library and the new med school. I've been here for like 10 years now, and it feels like still beautiful to look around. I'm not tired of looking around. I was just walking up here in the quad just now, and I was like, you just can't take a picture of this that does it justice. So I'm just excited to see, like, what is the school going to look like in 5 years, because it's just going to continue to be elite, and that's exciting to be a part of, especially in an era where so many schools are shutting down. So many other lacrosse programs or programs in general are getting cut or struggling. So I feel really blessed to be here, where we have a lot of smart people who are just taking care of what we have going on here. Lacrosse, keep winning championships, keep recruiting great kids, keep helping the school out. I said after we won this year, I hope this boosts enrollment a little bit.
I'm sure it will. Sure it will. Well, Claire, you are wonderful. We are blessed to have you as the head coach of the women's lacrosse team, and I know good things lie ahead for next year. Hopefully you'll get a good break this summer to just kind of relax and put your feet up, maybe watch a little bit of lacrosse.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining me today. It was lovely to get to know you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for joining us on Always a Raven. New episodes will drop every Tuesday, and you're not going to want to miss any of them because we've got some pretty amazing guests coming up. They are reigniting the hearts of Ravens throughout all generations across all industries, and they are incredible. Be sure to like and follow us on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss any episodes. And if you're a new Raven or a potential Raven, be sure to check out our website at benedictine.edu. And remember, once a Raven, always a Raven.